Welcome to Wisconsin Public Media's coverage of the 2023 Wisconsin State Budget Address, live from the Capitol in Madison.
In a few moments, Governor Tony Evers will make his way into the Assembly chambers. Evers will address the full legislature, his cabinet, and the people of Wisconsin.
Good evening. I'm Frederica Freiberg from PBS Wisconsin.
And I'm Sean Johnson from Wisconsin Public Radio. We're about to hear from Governor Tony Evers about his state budget plans for the 2023 to 2025 biennium.
Since his State of the State address about a month ago, Governor Evers has been previewing some of his budget plans, which include increased education funding, again proposing to legalize marijuana, and providing more money to combat water contamination and assist with PFAS cleanup.
Additionally, other big-ticket items we expect to hear about are major changes to shared revenue funding and sales taxes, as well as new funding proposals to address mental health and programs to help the state's veterans. To help us explore some of the governor's budget proposals, we'll be joined after the speech by Jason Stein, Research Director for the Wisconsin Policy Forum. This two-year budget stands out for one significant reason: the amount of money lawmakers have available to spend.
And that's right. According to the latest projections, the state will have a more than $7 billion budget surplus. This stands, of course, in stark contrast to years past when lawmakers had to balance the state checkbook with a looming budget deficit.
And you can hear in the background there are introductions going on in the Assembly chamber right now. We can tell you that the governor is about to walk into the chamber, it looks like. And, you know, you said it, the topic of the night is really going to be this surplus, this massive surplus, and what we're going to do with it. You're going to hear the governor's plans tonight for what he's going to do with it, but this will be the beginning of a process with a Republican-dominated legislature.
Well, as we've said, it certainly is a nice problem to have for budget writers to have this kind of surplus. You know, Sean, we've been here many times before when we've been talking about, again, just the very opposite of that and where they were going to have to make difficult and painful cuts and that kind of thing. Now, that's not to say, of course, that the Republican budget writers and legislature will go along with big spending despite this projected surplus.
And we're going to hear soon from the Assembly Sergeant-at-Arms introduce the governor.
Mr. President and members, the governor of the great state of Wisconsin, the Honorable Tony Evers.
And then you see Governor Evers through the Assembly chamber, shaking hands with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle here. This is the happy part of the speech. This is where everybody gets along and wants to say hello to the governor. You know, if you've watched these speeches recently, you're going to see one side of the aisle. The Democrats clap for a lot of what he proposes tonight. Republicans are going to... They have been telegraphing for a while now in no uncertain terms that they are going to do their own budget. And when we say that, if they look at the last two-year budget as an example, they really did. They tossed out hundreds of the governor's proposals in a single vote and kind of started building anew. You could see that this time, although they're going to have to have some level of agreement on big picture stuff like education funding, tax cuts, and the balance between the two if we're going to have a budget here come this summer.
Yes, it does sound as though there may be points of compromise, and again, easier when you're working with this kind of a surplus, to be sure.
At this time, I would like to introduce the governor of the great state of Wisconsin, the Honorable Tony Evers.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening, Wisconsin. Honorable Supreme Court justices, tribal nation leaders, constitutional officers, members of the Wisconsin National Guard, active and retired members of our armed forces, cabinet members, Senate President Kapenga, Majority Leader Lemieux, Minority Leader Agard, Speaker Voss, Minority Leader Neubauer, legislators, distinguished guests we have here tonight, and all the folks tuning in at home, thank you for being here tonight. I'm Tony Evers, and I'm proud to deliver my third biennial budget message tonight as the 46th governor of the great state of Wisconsin. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Now, after accidentally suggesting when I was here last time that she's been married twice, I'm happy to report that Kathy and I are still married, and she's up in the gallery tonight. Kathy, I'm glad it was just one wedding, and I'm still glad that it was with me. I love you so much, Kathy. Thank you. Wisconsin, as I share our agenda for the next 2 years together, we begin this biennium in the best fiscal position we've ever been in our 175 years of statehood. Everybody. Everybody made it happen. This is a breakthrough budget, one that has rarely, if ever, come along in our state's history. And with this opportunity comes responsibility, obviously. Today, we carry the weight of posterity. While we must find ways to save when we can, we have a duty to invest in needs that have been long neglected. While we cannot afford to be careless or reckless, we have a duty to protect the future we've worked hard to build together. While we must continue to stay well within our means, we have a duty to create prosperity that will define our state for generations. Tonight, I'm proud to report that our 2023-25 biennial budget balances these important obligations. My plan to cut your taxes is a good example. I promised cutting taxes would be a part of our agenda to help working families afford rising costs, and it is. And I'm proposing we do it responsibly by targeting relief to working Wisconsinites who need help affording those rising costs. So I'm delivering on my promise for a 10% middle-class tax cut and providing $1.2 billion in tax relief for working families. Under my plan, if you're a single filer making less than $100,000 or a married joint filer making less than $150,000, the cornerstone of my tax plan will cut your taxes by 10%. That's real, sustainable relief that will keep income taxes low now and into the future without causing devastating cuts to priorities like public schools and public safety. And here's who else we can help if we get this done. Seniors living on fixed incomes that haven't kept up with rising costs, working families with kids to help afford child care and reduce child poverty, families providing care and assistance to an aging relative, and veterans and surviving spouses paying rent. My plan provides tax relief to help you too. Giving working families a little extra breathing room is just one key part of our plan to bolster the middle class, maintain our economy's momentum, reduce barriers to work, and address our state's workforce challenges. But we have a lot of work to do to keep building our economy from the ground up. Let's start with making sure our infrastructure is prepared to support a workforce and economy of the 21st century. No administration in state history has done more to expand to high-speed internet than we have. We've allocated more than $340 million to ensure more than 390,000 homes and businesses will now have new, improved, reliable, high-speed internet, and that's a big deal, folks. But in this century, nearly everything about our economy, our workforce, and our way of life depends on access to reliable, high-speed internet. And the longer it takes to get everyone connected, the more costly it becomes for our state to catch up. We can't not afford to keep our same pace. In fact, we need to double our efforts. So I'm again proposing to make the largest investment in high-speed internet in our state's history. I'm asking the legislature to join me in supporting a $750 million investment into broadband expansion grants so the state is doing our part to meet our goal of getting every Wisconsinite, every home, and every business connected to a reliable, affordable, high-speed internet by the end of 2025. We have to do this, folks, and together we will. Part of ensuring our infrastructure is ready for a 21st century workforce and economy is building upon our work over the last 4 years to fix roads, 5,800 miles of roads and nearly 1,600 bridges. I'm also proposing the highest level of funding ever to the aid that goes directly towards helping local counties and communities repair and maintain our roads to do just that. We're also investing in key projects across the state, from the Ray Nitschke Memorial Bridge in Green Bay to the Blotnick Bridge in Superior. And we're expanding transportation alternatives in our small communities, building out our electric vehicle charging infrastructure, and re-engineering roads to improve safety and help prevent reckless driving. These investments will be critical for bringing our infrastructure into this century. At the same time, we're still balancing these investments with prudent decisions to prepare for future economic uncertainty. So we're going to use a portion of our state surplus not to create more ongoing expenses, but to reduce them. We're going to pay down $380 million in state debt in transportation revenue bonds. That means we'll spend less of your hard-earned tax dollars in the future paying on debt and interest so that we can stay focused on fixing the darn roads. Investing in the 21st century transportation and infrastructure is essential to preparing our workforce and our economy for the future, and we have to start right away. But infrastructure is only one part of the work ahead of us to keep our talented workforce here and to bring more talent to Wisconsin. We have to continue harnessing local innovators and ingenuity to maintain our economic momentum and retain and recruit talented workers to build a workforce for the future. And building an economy from the ground up starts with investing in our main streets, our communities, and our local partners. So I announced last month we're continuing our successful Main Street Bounce Back program. And that's great news. This program has already revitalized our main streets and moved more than 8,500 businesses into vacant storefronts across our state. But I also recognize that when it comes to bolstering our workforce, no two communities' needs are alike. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to our state's workforce challenges. We trust our local innovators, communities, businesses, and economic development partners to know best what they need to support a strong, successful workforce and bring new workers to their area. They might need more high-quality child care providers. They might need more clinics and accessible health care, or to expand job training in high-demand industries. We must meet those unique needs whatever and wherever they may be. It's why one of the most significant investments we make in this budget is to invest nearly $500 million in programs designed to support local, regionally based projects in communities and regions to help them expand the state's workforce, invest in health infrastructure, and other capital projects in communities across our state. These innovative investments will ensure communities have what they need for local workers to live here, work here, and raise a family here based on local needs, and that's critically important. It's also only one part of the equation. We need to make sure Wisconsin workers and families and talent we hope to recruit have housing in our communities too. Lack of access to affordable housing will hold our workforce and our economy back. So we're going to take a multi-pronged approach to make sure we have safe, reliable, and affordable housing across our state. We're creating a new affordable workforce housing program with a $150 million investment into local communities to maintain and develop workforce housing across Wisconsin. We also know we can expand housing options in our communities by renovating and restoring housing that's already available. So we're investing $200 million into renovating and restoring existing residential properties, including providing low interest and forgivable loans to help working families update and remediate lead in their current homes. Our local partners have always played a critical role in our work to build an economy and a workforce for the future. But let's be frank, work at the local level over the last decade hasn't been helped by the fact that our local partners have been asked to do more with less. Whether it's expanding affordable housing, repairing streets, ensuring clean parks and water, safety services like EMS, police, and fire, or supporting local libraries and public health. So much of the hard work in this state happens at the local level, and it's time for the state to do its part. Last month, I pledged my support for a budget provision to send 20% of the state's sales tax revenue back to our local communities for shared revenue. And I'm excited to share that our budget includes that proposal. I don't care where it came from, providing more than $500 million more per year in new resources to invest in key priorities like public safety. We have to get this done, folks. And we're not just going to fund our local governments, we're also going to invest in key programs at the state level to help local partners do important work in our communities. One of those investments into local public health, I'm excited to announce tonight, is a new pilot program to help make sure our kids can safely participate in youth athletics. To explain why this initiative is important, I have to start by telling you the story of Kai Lermer. Kai was a junior at Waukesha North High School and a three-sport athlete. He played varsity football, basketball, and was a long jumper on the track team. On March 25, 2019, Kai was playing pickup basketball with friends when he went into cardiac arrest. As his parents later learned, Kai had an undiagnosed heart condition called Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, a condition no one knew he had. Youth physicals required to participate in high school athletics typically don't include an EKG, a test that might have diagnosed Kai sooner. Only days after going into sudden cardiac arrest on April 3, 2019, Kai passed away. He was 16. As Kai's family will tell you, to know Kai was to love Kai. And while I was never fortunate enough to meet Kai myself, I'm humbled tonight to be able to honor him. It's my privilege to welcome Kai's loved ones, including his mom, Patricia, and godfather, Paul, who are up in the gallery with us tonight. Folks, thank you. Last year, I joined Kai's family and friends when I signed the Kai 11 bill at Waukesha North High School, a bipartisan bill that passed thanks to Kai's parents, godparents, loved ones, and friends, and their relentless dedication and advocacy. The Kai 11 bill was critical for raising awareness and helping ensure coaches, student athletes, and parents know the risk of sudden cardiac arrest. Tonight, I'm announcing we're building upon Kai 11 by investing more than $4 million into a pilot program through local public health departments to implement an EKG screening program for kids participating in youth athletics. This pilot program will screen for conditions like Kai's to help prevent cardiac-related health incidents in youth athletes. It'll ensure kids and their parents can make the best decisions for participating in athletics safely and identify key strategies for potentially expanding the screening program statewide in the future. Folks, this investment into local public health will save kids' lives just like Kai. Let's get this done. I'm also excited about another investment tonight that will help ensure our local partners can do their important work. We're going to make an unprecedented investment into supporting every level of our state's justice workforce. Without providing new resources to recruit, retain, and compensate qualified and experienced professionals who are essential to ensuring our justice system functions well, our state and our local partners at the local level will continue to face a constitutional crisis. We're going to tackle this issue head on in this budget. We're investing nearly $36 million into bolstering our justice workforce, including assistant district attorneys and public defenders, among other key positions. Investments in our budget like these are critical. The state has to start being a partner in, not an obstacle to, our local community's success. The way we've been funding our local governments is not sustainable. We need to change that. I'm also here to tell you that the way we're funding our schools isn't sustainable either. We need to change that too. Budgets reflect our priorities, which is why every budget I've built over the last couple of years has been doing what's best for kids. This one's no different. Now, let's remember where we started. 4 years ago, we hadn't seen the largest per pupil revenue limit adjustment or the largest nominal increase in general aid in a decade. In 10 years, not one additional cent had been invested in special education aid. And frankly, if I hadn't been here as governor to use my veto pen and take unilateral action per pupil aid, wouldn't have been increased by more than $300 per student. So we've accomplished a lot, and I'm proud of our work. But I've also spent 4 years asking some people in this building that we need to do more. And I've heard those same people suggest time and time again that because of our previous budgets and federal pandemic aid, our kids in our schools have already received enough. So I'd like to respond to that tonight. On Monday this week, the CDC released its Youth Risk Behavior Survey report. And here's what the data show. In 2021, more than 40% of high school students felt so bad and hopeless that nearly every day, for at least 2 weeks in a row, that they stopped doing their usual activities. 1 in 10 students attempted suicide. 1 in 5 students seriously considered attempting suicide. And the statistics are especially bleak for teen girls and LGBTQ students. Nearly 60% of teen girls felt persistently sad or hopeless, double the rate for teen boys. Nearly a third of teen girls seriously considered attempting suicide. Think about that. That's 1 in 3 teen girls. And about 70% of LGBTQ students experience persistent feeling of sadness or hopelessness. More than 20% of LGBTQ students attempted suicide. No one who has the privilege of working in this building, including I, can read these statistics and say with a straight face that we're already doing enough. Folks, enough will be enough when these are not the statistics reading about our kids in the news. It's time to get serious. As a governor who also has, I'm a governor and a grandfather, tonight I'm calling on the legislature to join me in doing what's best for our kids by approving the largest increase in K-12 schools and education in our state's history. As I've said before, and I'll say it again tonight, our kids can only achieve their full and best potential when they can bring their full and best selves to the classroom. If we want to have a chance at improving our kids' outcomes, then we have to shorten those odds. We can start by addressing the statistics, I just read to you. Let's make sure every kid in Wisconsin has access to school-based mental health services through our Get Kids Ahead initiative. It's a year of mental health, folks. I know we can get this done. And here's another easy step we can take. Let's make sure kids aren't hungry, yes, ever, but especially at school. My plan is simple. Fully fund universal school breakfasts and lunches so that every kid can be focused on their schoolwork and not when or whether they'll eat next. These are basic steps we can take to help improve outcomes for our kids so that they can come to class coursework ready. A coupled with our investments and initiatives to bolster our educator pipeline to keep class sizes small and improve financial literacy, math, reading outcomes across our state, we're going to make sure our kids are ready for success. And we're going to make sure our kids have the skills and tools they need to join the 21st century workforce we're working to build together. So I'm going to deliver on my pledge to improve access to computer science education in Wisconsin with a $10 million investment to bolster computer science education across Wisconsin, including requiring high schools to provide this critical instruction. The best measure of the opportunity we have to offer is whether we're willing to invest in the future of our kids and our families. So high-quality education has to start early. Our budget expands access to quality, affordable health or child care for Wisconsin kids through our successful Child Care Counts initiative that helps stabilize our child care industry during the pandemic. And we're going to invest more than $22 million to keep working to support partnerships between businesses and child care providers who want to do their part to help make sure child care is more affordable and accessible for their workers. But after I announced one of our budget's top priorities would be expanding access to affordable child care, Brittany, who is a nurse in Milwaukee, wrote to me saying that we should also work to make parental leave more affordable. She said, let's start from the beginning. Folks, Brittany's right. Parents are the first and best teachers our kids have, so we have to start from the beginning, and tonight I offer a plan to do just that. We have a plan to bolster our state's workforce, maintain our momentum, and build our economy for our future from the ground up, and that plan includes making sure parents can put their kids and families first. So we're taking a comprehensive approach to paid family leave for workers and employers across our state, because doing what's best for our kids is what's best for our state and what's best for our families and workforce too. The weeks after welcoming a new child are critical for families to have time together for kids' future development. Tonight I'm announcing that we're going to create a statewide program that will provide most private sector workers with Wisconsin paid family and medical leave for 12 weeks. And we're going to do it by investing more than $240 million in state funds to get that program started. And new parents aren't the only ones who can benefit from a paid family leave program that truly meets the needs of our workforce. Too often, folks are also unable to receive family or medical leave support based on their unique circumstances or situation. So we're going to expand eligibility so workers have the flexibility to respond to their personal family members or their kids' needs. We're expanding eligibility uses for family and medical leave to include caring for a new child, the unforeseen or unexpected closure of a child care facility, aftermath of a domestic violence or sexual assault, having serious health conditions such as medical quarantine, caring for family members with serious health conditions, and military deployment for service members and their spouses, kids, and parents. My plan takes care of these folks too. Listen, I know the people in this building might not agree with me on the periphery of every policy all the time. That is democracy, right? But I also believe we should be able to pass common sense proposals that already have broad bipartisan support, especially those we know will help us retain and recruit a talented workforce. And here's what else I know. We cannot afford to stand still while other states are willing to take bold, urgent action to compete for new workers. And that includes competing for Wisconsin's own homegrown talent. I wish we could all agree that expanding affordable health care will help our families, our farmers, our rural communities, our small businesses, our main streets, and our state's biggest employers alike. So yes, I'm again proposing to expand Badger Care because access to quality, affordable health care is workforce and economic development. And with the help of our Lieutenant Governor, we'll be continuing fighting to expand Badger Care just as we have in the past 4 years. And yes, I wish we could agree that each day women in the state are treated like second-class citizens because of a law enacted before they had the right to vote, one that strips them of their reproductive rights. It's bad for freedom, it's bad for families, and it's bad for recruiting new workers too. We cannot expect more people to move here if they have to give up basic freedoms when they do, period. And I also think we should be able to agree that in America's Dairyland, immigrants are an essential part of our communities, our churches, our schools, our workforce, and our economy. So let's finally answer the call of businesses, farmers, and agricultural industries, and law enforcement, among others. Let's make sure everyone can access driver's licenses, regardless of their citizenship status, so that workers can get from point A to point B, and we can keep our roads safer too. As we begin the budget discussion, and I have no doubt the conversation will be lively tonight, let's dispose of the notion that priorities in this budget are somehow extreme or far-fetched. I promise you this, in this budget there's more that unites us than divides us. These aren't Republican or Democrat priorities, they're Wisconsin priorities, areas where we should be able to find common ground. This budget is about solutions, not wish lists. This is a budget about pragmatism, not politics. This is a budget about getting back to basics and doing the right thing. Expanding high-speed internet, improving health care access, reducing child care costs, keeping communities safe, building more housing, addressing PFAS and water contaminants, funding our schools, improving mental health. And there's more, fixing roads and bridges, bolstering our current and future workforce, maintaining our economy's momentum. We're not flirting with fringe ideas here, folks. The priorities I just listed should be easy. These concepts aren't controversial, at least not to the folks who spend more of their time outside of the Capitol building than inside of it. So, as we shoulder the weight of posterity, let's not allow our work together to be hindered by partisanship. As you consider this breakthrough budget, let's not just dismiss ideas because they're proposed by a person or party you dislike. And as we balance this historic opportunity with our historic responsibility, let's give these priorities deliberation and debate that's worthy of the traditions and the people of this state. We have so much work to do and so much we can accomplish if we're willing to work together. Together we will. Let's get to work, folks. Thank you. And on Wisconsin. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And so Governor Tony Evers concludes his biennial budget address, talking about new funding initiatives for mental health and veterans, as well as changes to shared revenue and the state sales tax system. There will be a lot to discuss and analyze in the weeks and months ahead.
Tonight, we're joined by Jason Stein, Research Director for the Wisconsin Policy Forum. Jason, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So, Jason, what stands out in this address?
I mean, really, the really substantial funding increases for a whole variety of priorities. You start with schools, healthcare, things like that, things that we would traditionally be expecting, but then you throw in more than $290 million for Miller Park, $240 million for family medical leave, $750 million for broadband. So even those sort of non-traditional priorities, easily above $1 billion, just those three.
Can you put that in context for people? I mean, I think they've heard over and over again that we have this historic budget surplus. You heard the governor make mention of it tonight. $7.1 billion sounds big, but how does this compare to previous budgets?
I mean, it's unlike anything we've ever seen before in our numbers going back 40 years. So it's really unprecedented. And so it does allow for both parties to think big, whether that's on the tax cut side or on the spending side. You know, at the same time, a lot of substantial increases here that will lower the state's reserves substantially, which is appropriate. But I think that the spending that is happening may be difficult to sustain in the next budget.
As to the tax cuts, the governor regards them as tax cuts for the middle class, and that is as opposed to what we understand that the Republican budget writers are interested in, which may well be a flat tax. How do these two plans compare?
Sure. I mean, the first thing is the governor has a mix of both tax increases that would primarily fall on upper income earners and tax decreases that would primarily be for low and middle income earners. So whereas the Republican plan is essentially putting forward a very large tax cut, that also would be difficult to sustain in future years. It would, over a 4-year phase-in, eventually ramp up to $5 billion a year.
How about the paid family leave provision that the governor talked about there? I mean, this is something that we actually heard about during the race for governor last year. Republican candidate for governor Tim Michels said he'd support some kind of paid family leave in a debate. What's the likelihood that you'd see this Republican legislature support what the governor talked about tonight?
Obviously, you've seen the Republican legislature in the past move to not move in favor of family medical leave. You would not expect, I think you'd start out expecting there not to be a compromise on that. But I will say that in the wake of the Dobbs decision by the U.S. Supreme Court this summer that overturned Roe v. Wade, you have seen some discussion on the Republican side about ways to provide for mothers and new families. And so that may provide some opening for at least some kind of discussion between the two sides.
Do you feel like there's more compromise to be had in this budget?
I do, in the sense that, the governor is not really expected to run for a third term. So I think, that sort of lowers the temperature on the politics. And it may provide, again, we have a very large surplus. It makes, some things certainly easier in terms of the financing. And I think both sides have things that they would really like to get out of this budget. And for that to happen, there's got to be a budget approved and signed.
And so what happens now from here? I mean, in the past, a governor would unveil a budget and they would get, a large percentage of what they wanted. That would be the working document that the legislature dealt with. What's going to happen with this legislature given recent history?
Sure. I mean, if Tim Michels, the Republican nominee for governor, had won in November, I think you would have seen his budget, be approved in its majority by the Republican legislature. You're expecting something, in an opposite direction, at least the governor's big signature proposals, you would not expect them to go through as passed. But in areas like aid for local governments, which we call shared revenue, in perhaps on Miller Park or the Brewers Stadium, now American Family Field, in some of those areas, repealing the personal property tax, you could expect to see, some give and take and maybe an ultimate compromise proposal.
As for that shared revenue plan that would give 20% of the state sales tax back to local governments, the governor made note of the fact that it doesn't matter whose idea it was, because this was a Republican idea.
Exactly. And yet at the same time, you didn't see a lot of clapping on the Republican side for most of the things that the governor was putting forward, including that proposal. So again, there it seems like the two sides are pretty close, but there's still always, I think, in today's hyper-partisan world, a lot of gulf to bridge.
I think there might be an idea in the public that when you have so much money, they ought to be able to all get something that they want. The governor ought to be able to get what he wants. The legislature should be able to get what they want. Easy budget cycle. What do you think?
I mean, I think appetites grow as, the platters grow. So I think, it'll be interesting to see. There's certainly both sides can get many things that they want, maybe not all the things that they want. And I think one of the dynamics as well, though, is when there's more to divvy up, there's also more to fight about.
Meanwhile, this is being introduced formally before the Joint Finance Committee this evening.
That's how it starts right away.
Correct. The governor's bill will go to the Joint Finance Committee. It'll be reviewed. There'll be hearings in the coming months, and then in May and June, the Joint Finance Committee will mark that budget up. They'll they'll send a bill out to the Assembly and Senate. They'll eventually agree on a version. It'll go to the governor, and then he will decide, am I going to use my powerful partial veto pen to veto this in part but sign most of it? Or am I going to reject it in whole, which would, put us in pretty uncharted territory?
We will see.
All right. Jason Stein, Research Director at the Wisconsin Policy Forum. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
If you would like to see tonight's speech along with Jason Stein's insights, you can watch it again by going to pbswisconsin.org. It will be posted there later this evening. We will also have continuing coverage of the state budget this Friday night at 7:30 on Here and Now.
Wisconsin Public Radio will also continue to follow developments from the state capitol, both on the air and online at WPR.org. I'm Sean Johnson with Wisconsin Public Radio.
And I'm Frederica Freiberg with PBS Wisconsin. This concludes Wisconsin Public Media's coverage of the 2023 Wisconsin State Budget Address. Thanks for joining us.